Husband told me to leave after 20 years. I've been married for 18 years, 19 in November, and 16 years ago, we decided I'd stay home with the kids to make my husband's work life easier. It was hard for him to get time off for doctor's appointment, school functions, sick days, summer etc. I have done all of this plus take care of the house, but I did sacrifice having any sort of job or career. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety and had a hip injury, which turned out to be degenerative bone disorder. Cleaning and cooking has gotten harder and harder for me, so the house and cooking have just not happened. I have begged for help from him, but he is too busy, so I try to do as much as I possibly can. Possibly this was my downfall. Over the years he has entered into several online-only relationships. I have caught him, he has apologized and said he'd never do it again, we move on. Most recently there was one 2 years ago with a mom on a baseball team he coached and our kid was on. This weekend, he told me he's not happy anymore and wants me to leave. Claims there is not another woman. I have no family, no job, no money and 3 kids. I live in Texas, which is not an alimony state. Are there any resources or anything I can do? I have not left the house, it's the only thing I could afford if I could get a job since our housing market has gone out of control high. I have applied for hundreds of jobs, it's a tough market in a large city and being out of the workforce so long. Who told you Texas was a non-alimony state? Your husband? Sec. 8.051 of Texas Code Link. Pretty standard fare. B. Has been married to the other spouse for 10 years or longer and lacks the ability to earn sufficient income to provide for the spouse's minimum reasonable needs. By considering all relevant factors, including 1. Each spouse's ability to provide for that spouse's minimum reasonable needs independently, considering that spouse's financial resources on dissolution of the marriage. 2. The education and employment skills of the spouses. The time necessary to acquire sufficient education or training to enable the spouse seeking maintenance to earn sufficient income, and the availability and feasibility of that education or training. 3. The duration of the marriage. 4. The age, employment history, earning ability, and physical and emotional condition of the spouse seeking maintenance. 5. The effect on each spouse's ability to provide for that spouse's minimum reasonable needs while providing periodic child support payments or maintenance, if applicable. 6. Acts by either spouse resulting in excessive or abnormal expenditures or destruction, concealment, or fraudulent disposition of community property, joint tenancy, or other property held in common. 7. The contribution by one spouse to the education, training, or increased earning power of the other spouse. 8. The property brought to the marriage by either spouse. 9. The contribution of a spouse as homemaker. 10. Marital misconduct, including adultery and cruel treatment, by either spouse during the marriage. And 11. Any history or pattern of family violence, as defined by Section 71.004. You have a damn good case for half the house, the retirement, alimony, and a lawyer at his expense, within reason. Make some calls when he's out of the house Wednesday. OMG, I had no idea. This makes me feel so much better. I have always just felt trapped. Like he knows he can treat me shitty because I can't go anywhere. I've been trying to get a job for a few years, but it's so hard when you have 0 experience and 17 years without working. Do not discuss anything with him at this point. Get a lawyer, stay in the house, and yes, TX is an alimony state. After you get a lawyer, everything then goes through the lawyer. If you have to sell the house, then sell it. You get half, along with half of everything else. Lawyer up. Texas is a community property state. You are entitled to half his Social Security, half his retirement benefits at the very least. Your lawyer will be able to guide you. And do not buy into the let's just use one lawyer to save money so many like to pull. You want someone representing your interests. Lots of well-intentioned advice here, but the best of it is get a lawyer. Texas is not an alimony state, but there is spousal support for 5 to 10 years depending on the length of the marriage. Source: I'm divorced in Texas, and I received spousal support in addition to child support. Get a lawyer now. Do not leave. You have rights, including 50% of his 401k alimony and child support. Get an attorney stat. Check if you have legal insurance. Most big companies include this in benefits package. Good luck and don't give up. It will get better. Do not leave the marital household. I'm not a TX lawyer, but I would advise you to get a good family lawyer and file first. You'll be asking for him to pay for your legal fees and court costs. In my state, a lawyer can file a motion asking for child support before the divorce is granted. First things first, talk to a few local family law attorneys. They can advise you on the best way to start the divorce process and ensure you get what you're entitled to.